Allison is the most beloved villain in television history.
Absolutely. You have done a masterful job playing someone that we all love to hate.
When you get the gig as the villain, I mean, your job, I mean, if they're liking you too much, I mean, clearly you're doing something wrong.
It's just extraordinary what she's achieved with
As
this.
he says, I'm not actually that mean.
She's nice. I hated
Thank
you.
you. That was the job.
Well,
that was the job.
A very serious side to a lot of the stuff you've been
I
through.
was sexually and physically abused as a kid. I got bullied at school.
Was this in your household?
Yes, yeah. I was totally like shy and bullied and strange. And at some point, I went like, well, the only way out is through. It's awful.
How did you get the role of Nellie?
I read for the part of Laura, didn't get it. Read for Mary, didn't get it. And then they said, come back to Paramount for this other audition. And I turned to my father, said, this is not normal. He said, what do you mean? I said, it's not a normal part. He said, what? I said, this girl is a total bitch. I have friendships that are still going on today. I mean, Dean Butler's coming over here. I can't get rid of this guy.
I'm waiting to see how you're going to beat me up.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Welcome to Here's What Happened. I'm Weston Emery. I love Little House on the Prairie. I grew up on the show, so flying to Los Angeles and sitting down and getting to have a conversation with Alison Arngrim, who played the Nellie Oleson, is one of the most exciting things I've ever done, and I've never been more excited to share a conversation with you guys before, ever. After I spoke with Alison, I got to have a conversation with Dean Butler, who played Almanzo Wilder on the show. That conversation is going to come out in a few weeks from now, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and you turn the notification bell on so that you don't miss that conversation or any other future conversation that I have. Subscribing also happens to be the #1 way that you guys can support me. My channel is literally only going to grow if the people listening to this right now are subscribing. So it is very, very much appreciated if you take the quick second to do that. Also, I read and reply to every single comment on all of my videos. So if you had any thoughts about this conversation you wanted to leave below, I will be reading what you have to say and I will be replying. All that being said, please enjoy this conversation with Alison Arngrim, which happens to be one of the most special conversations that I've ever had.
Sit up straight. Yeah. Fab. Oh, yeah, no, I gotta sit up straight, yeah.
But again, just get comfortable. So
Okie-dokie.
here's the thing. You look great, by the way. You were just checking.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you have any kids?
Nah.
You don't have any kids? Okay, well, I need like someone to mom you real quick. Do I look okay?
Oh, you look fine.
Okay, no, nothing needs to be moved.
I was gonna say hair. Let's put your head straight because now I can see with the blue background. You might be a teeny little smoothie check. It's like, all right, you can see this there. There. I have a giant cowlick myself. It's a major struggle. The struggle is real. Cowlicks.
Can I trust her, guys? Did she do a good job?
Does it look good? Yeah, right. He had one tiny piece of hair kind of sticking up in the middle.
Guys, the Nellie Oleson just fixed my hair.
It's the same place I have a cowlick, so I totally understand.
So let me say this first. We have water for you there. It is Arrowhead. So I told them get her the luxury stuff, but they went with the dirtiest.
Water. And do you know that in most cities, unless you're really horrible and have no filtration at all, in most cities, the tap water is about the same as the bottled water.
Is it true? I'm from Michigan, and it's not true there.
Oh, no, Michigan probably not. LA City has some of the best water. Go figure. I get a thing from the DWP every month or so telling me what they found and didn't find in the water, and it's cleaner than the water in like half the country.
From the bottles?
Yeah, no, from the sink.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I got a filter thing on my fridge. Takes out anything. It might be in there. But LA is actually some of the cleanest water. Of course, I'm the freak who drinks New York tap water and Paris tap water. And
You'll just drink whatever, as long as it's water.
Yeah, I've drank. Well, I didn't drink the water in Puerto Vallarta because they said, this is Mexico, don't drink the water. Some hotels have filtration systems, but you should probably just not drink the water. I went, okay. But I drank the water everywhere.
What you're saying is, I should be safe for Arrowhead.
This
isn't an advertisement.
Awesome.
Okay, all right.
Fine.
All right. So, Alison, I have to tell you, first of all, this isn't an interview. This is just us hanging out. It's a conversation. Yeah. So I don't have like a list of this and that and this and that.
Which is probably better.
Okay, good.
It goes better.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Well, I tried to do that before, but I'm a terrible interviewer. I'm like, I would just want to hang out. I just want to make friends.
And the question, like, I literally once had a guy who said, question number 1. And I went, what? Wait, what? And he started, and there were normal questions, but it was an exam or something, because he went,
Question number one.
Question number one. And I went, oh, yes, well, here's how I got the part and blah, blah, blah. And then instead of going, oh, that's cool, did you find this, that, or that? He went, question number two. And I went, oh, my God.
Can we hang out? Can we be a little more comfortable?
Nothing.
Well, the good news is for you is we're just hanging out. You can say whatever you want.
Much better, because otherwise it's like, am I taking a test?
You're not taking a test. You can't fail this one.
It's only Christmas here, which I love.
That's what I was telling Sai. I said, wow, there's Christmas decorations here. I have no problem with that.
With the dolls. We love
We'll celebrate all year round. So, Alison, you don't know me, but I want to tell you this. This is a big life moment for me. I've grown up on your show.
Yeah.
My mother, Kim, she is right there with me with like just one of the biggest Little House on the Prairie fans
True bonnet
ever.
head. True bonnet head.
True bonnet head.
Yeah, awesome.
Is that what you call us?
We do call the hardcore fans bonnet heads.
Even as a man.
Yes, we have many proud male bonnet heads.
Yeah, okay, that's me. Sign me up.
Oh my God, you got to watch a show. So my friend Pamela Bob, who I do the podcast, the 50th anniversary Little House podcast with Dean Butler, Pamela Bob wrote a web series called Living on a Prairie, and it's hysterical. And it's
I'm sorry, who's
her name's Pamela Bob. She's a Broadway actress, but she wrote this show called Living on a Prairie. I'm in it, and it's about a woman who's so obsessed with Little House on the Prairie she cannot actually really function. And one of the episodes is the male Bonnet Heads Anonymous group, where men meet in secret to discuss their love of Little House.
I need to get an agent so I can get in on that.
Yeah, you need to get it. Yeah, you should be in that.
When you said that you were in it, did you were in it as Alison or as Nellie? Like, was it like a...
No, I was in it as her therapist who's trying to help her with her terrible Little House obsession.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
That is so fun. Well, great. Well, what I wanted to tell you is I have grown up. I'm a little bit disappointed. As excited as I am to meet you right now, I feel disappointed. Here's why, okay? I've grown up watching you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to meet the Nellie Oleson. And in my head, I have 26 years of built-up rage towards you.
This is a common problem we encounter. Yes.
I figured it might be. Everyone who meets you, they're like, oh, I've been ready to teach her a lesson. And you walk through, and I was like, here we go. But to my surprise, you're actually not nasty Nellie.
It's a real problem for the people who've been building up to like punch me in the face. It's like air goes out of sales. Yeah. I'm like, hi.
No, I'm just...
the worst was I was at an autograph show, LA County Fair. This woman walks in. I don't know how long she'd been holding it up. She'd been holding it in for like 30 odd years. She comes up to the table and she's just red in the face. Smoke is coming out of her ears. She does not say hello. She does not say good morning. She doesn't ask for an autograph. She literally looks at me and goes, I forgive you, and walks out.
I forgive you.
And I was like, my husband was like, was that just for the show or for everything?
Yeah.
I mean, what do we, it's, yeah.
Well,
so people are, there are people who really are hoping that I will be horrible, and then they can vent all their hostilities that they have been sitting on for all this time. But
well, see, Charles Ingalls teaches his children to just be kind and loving no matter what. And Laura, obviously, every once in a while, she gets a little bit...
She ignores this advice and punches me in the face.
Yeah, it punches or pushes you down a hill in a wheelchair. And so I was trying to take notes, not from Charles, but from Laura, and I was really ready to come out swinging today. But
you're ready to go.
Unfortunately, I didn't get Nasty Nellie. I got sweet, bubbly Alison
today.
Alison.
Sorry.
Oh, my goodness. Well, honestly, and this is being very serious. This is an absolute honor to talk to you. I am such a Little House on the Prairie fan, and my mom wanted to come join me today.
Oh, no,
she couldn't make it.
You did a letter or no?
I wanted her to.
No. Okay,
the timing didn't add up, but if you want to look in the camera and tell her hello, it's Kim.
Which is my mind's the first. Either one. Kim, is that Kim? Hi, Kim. I'm sorry you couldn't make it. But as he says, I'm not actually that mean.
She's nice.
I get paid to be mean. Actually, if no one's paying me to be mean, you just get this. What can I do?
How much would you charge for us to have you throw some dirt a little bit?
It's at least like $5-10 grand.
$5-10. Dang,
minimum.
Anyone got a Venmo for me? Someone got some cash? Well, so Alison.
Yes.
I hated you as a kid.
Thank you. See, this is what people say, and I always say, yes. Thank you. That was the job.
Well,
that was the job, and the more you hate me, the better job I was doing.
Exactly, and that's what I'm thinking. Like when I say that, and when other people come up to you and they're mad at you, it is a compliment for
100%,
you because
100%.
You have done a masterful job playing someone that we all love to hate, and when
you get the gig as the villain, I mean, your job. I mean, if they're liking you too much, I mean, clearly you're doing something wrong. If no one's mad, if
Yeah.
You're playing an incredibly annoying person. And I think people identify with the show because everyone has Nellie at their school. Everyone has a Mrs. Olson at their job.
Everyone has a Nellie.
They know. And so if you're not irritating, and that's why I admire Alison Arngrim, who was Nancy. Oh my God, was she irritating? If people aren't going, I can hardly stand to watch you, you're so hard, then you're doing something wrong.
Well,
I mean, I know I did it right because of this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You've done, and this is just a huge compliment. And I know you've grown up hearing it, but again, as a fan for my entire life, not just in my childhood, but in my adult life, Little House on the Prairie is my comfort show. I'll study for exams and everything. In the last year, I think I've been through it twice. It is always on, and it's like if I'm having a good day, it's Little House on the Prairie.
Yes,
if I'm having a bad day, it's
Yes.
and it's just a warm, wholesome TV show, and you made that show. You did so good, Allison. So my praise to you.
This is true. This is what we get. I knew a woman who's a prosecutor in like murder trials and things, and she said when she would get stressed out, had a really big trial, she said in some mornings I had to watch 2 episodes of Little House so I could make it to court.
Every once in a while, I have to watch 3. So.
It's a stress releasing thing. It absolutely, and I think that's why here we are 52 freaking years later, and everyone's
52 years later.
2 years.
How long did you play Nellie?
7. Well, and technically 9 because I did 7 years, and then
back.
I came back for season 9.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was 70, and it's 52 years later. I mean, I started in 74. And people are still watching. It's in 140 countries. It's been on DVD, Blu-ray, blah blah blah. It's streaming now. People are still watching this all over the world 52 years later. That's not normal.
Is there anything else like that? I'm trying to think.
Star Trek.
But that doesn't count. This is a
Yeah, right, that doesn't
9-season
count.
show. This
Right.
is a 9.
It's like okay, Star Trek. We have many versions. We're about to have another version. So I guess it's the same.
Star Wars.
Certain things, certain TV shows stick, but we stuck. Like I mean, there were so many shows in the 70s that were brilliant and were big hits, and the critics loved them, and they won all the Emmys. We didn't win the Emmys. I'm very mad about that. But, we didn't win the Emmys. I was robbed. I tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't do the Emmy thing. But the other shows won the Emmys. They got the good reviews. They got everything. They didn't even rerun them. They didn't come out on DVD.
Yeah.
It's like it didn't happen. I don't know why. Our show hit some nerve that they were again and again and again, and in other countries where it didn't even make sense. And
Wow. Yeah, and there's so much to it. One thing I want to point out and talk with you about is the music.
Oh my God, yes.
Where did this? So I looked up. Do you know the guy's name? Who?
David Rose, the
David
famous
Rose.
composer. Yes.
Of course, you know his name. And I haven't recognized the other stuff he's done.
Guys, was genius.
He's brilliant, and I'm a
best.
big like a music buff when it comes to like soundtracks and scores, and there is something that hits home where every character has their theme songs and it can move your heart. Mary has her theme song, and Laura, and then Albert.
Like, dun, dun, dun. Oh, here she. It's like Darth Vader music, and I show up.
And
Yes.
and then when Allison or Catherine get on screen, Mrs. Olson or Nellie, it's this evil, the Darth Vader music, exactly. But the music just brings you right into this show, and it.
Yes, David Rose, who was a genius, who was married to Judy Garland at one time, and
Was he really?
yes, and he was into trains. When I went to his house for a party, he had a small choo-choo that went all the way around the building. You could ride on if you were small, and really cool guy. He wrote, I mean, he did all the music for Bonanza, and that's where Michael went, well, duh, I'm going to take these people. Yeah, and there's an episode of Bonanza, and this is like super insider baseball trivia. There is an episode of Bonanza where during this cattle drive, you're seeing all these big steers crossing a river. It's very dramatic, and you hear this da 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 da, this music, and then it goes da 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 da.
Copyrighted
He
himself.
wrote a piece, and later when they went to do Little House, he went, "Hey, what do you think of this part?
Yeah.
Hey, that's really good. Can you make a
That's
I
our
can make
theme
a whole
song.
thing of that? It was just this really great bit I used in the cattle drive, but I've been meaning to do something with that.
Yeah.
And it became the Little House theme. The closing theme, you know, where it goes do 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 do.
Dun, dun,
That
dun.
thing I always crack up.
Yeah.
Was actually a whole piece of music. I don't think there were words, but actually had as a title. It's called "When I'm With You." I don't. When I'm with you. I don't know if there's words.
Wait, was it written for Little House?
Yep. But he
Interesting.
gave it a
Didn't know that.
name. It was a thing. He was into, and get this, his other claim to fame, okay, Little House Bonanza, he did write music for movies, TV shows. I mean, look him up. He's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But his piece of music that everyone's heard, even if you never watched our show, no doubt you are familiar, is called The Stripper. It's been used in movies and cartoons and everything else. Ya-da da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. With
Okay.
the stripper
Yes,
music.
yes. I mean, every strip club I go to, they play that.
David Rose wrote that. Okay,
Oh.
are you going to strip clubs
I'm kidding.
with your grandpa?
Mom, I'm
No,
kidding.
I
I'm
was going to
kidding.
say, and are you going to strip clubs with your great grandfather? Because it would be, but the stripper, that piece of music that you've heard like a million times in comedy. That's David
him.
Rose.
Wow.
And it's called The Stripper. He literally wrote that. So he wrote everything. The guy was a genius, and he
genius.
and Michael Landon worked hand in hand. One day I got to see him work. I had come in to do, looping. You got to re-record lines and things. And I came in, and there was this entire orchestra in this huge room with the glass windows and the booth thing. And there was David Rose. And it was incredible because this was before.
Is he still around?
No, this is before the days of everything being technological and CGI and fake and AI. This was full orchestra. This was no synthesizer.
You can't make this up.
It's a whole thing with a huge string. That's why it sounds like it does.
It sounds.
It's a whole symphony playing.
You can tell he cared about what he was doing, and
was the
we
real
don't
thing.
get that anymore.
No.
Are you familiar with the TV show Lost?
Yes, I did. I wasn't a fan. I didn't watch it, but I know about it.
Michael Giacchino, I think is how you say it. Giacchino, I think it's Giacchino. He does Lost, and that's the last show I can remember where every character had their theme songs, and it was really brought you into
Right.
music.
Yes, they did. That's right.
Yeah, but anyways, I grew up on this show, and you did such a great job.
Thank
And
you
I
so
tell you what, growing up on this show, on Little House on the Prairie, it's very interesting because it talking about the music, and like none of this is scripted. I'm just saying whatever's coming to mind right now. But
I'm so glad you did notice that David Rose is a genius.
Genius.
Totally.
Oh,
Yeah,
total
yeah,
genius.
Yeah.
When I grew up in the show, I was a kid growing up with these kids, and I felt like Michael Landon was my dad, right? I felt like...
Right? Okay. Again, that's a huge thing.
Yes.
I hear it from people in other countries. If only my father was Michael Landon. I'm like, it's going everywhere.
But you feel part of the family. You feel like you're growing up with these kids, and I feel like
100%.
Laura's my sister, and blah, 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 right? It's
I think that's why it was. Yeah.
absolutely masterful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a phenomenon that we're seeing with everywhere. I mean, I don't mean to be mean, but definitely not the first person who said it's a thing. And I've heard from people just said, well, I felt like I was related to them. And then other people said, well, my parents died when I was young, or my parents were not good parents, or I was sent away to live with relatives, whatever terrible circumstance. And they go, oh, but I'd watch Little House, and my parents were Ma and Pa Ingalls. And it was, it was a thing.
It's so cool. All right, I have a challenge for you, Allison. Are you ready for? Here's what I want you to do.
Yes.
Are you excited? Are you?
Sure. What the hell?
This is the test.
What
This
are
is
we
the
doing?
test. No.
It's a game show.
No, it's not a game show.
Okay.
I would love for you to introduce yourself, who you are today, without talking about Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, good heavens. Yes, I think I can do that.
I want to know what makes you outside of it. Ready? And action.
Hi, my name's Alison Arngrim. I'm a nice 64-year-old married lady with cats. And I do many, many things. I like to write. I actually wrote a book, and I do stand-up comedy, and I interview people on podcasts. I got 2 of them, actually. I enjoy gardening and cooking. I am an excellent cook. And yesterday, I cleaned my refrigerator.
Wow. A+.
That's
A+.
there you go.
No, there wasn't even it wasn't a trick question. You were ready. You had that scripted.
I know who I am.
You know who
what
you
are you going to do?
Well, that's awesome to know. Now, let's include Little House on the Prairie with that. You travel around, and is it still a pretty big part of your life now, 52 years later? It's
so crazy. I mean, there was a time period right after the show I went, oh, well, people will stop watching this silly thing. Yeah, silly me. And they'll stop watching it, and we'll all move on.
Silly you.
And then the DVDs came out, and then the street thing and and I was like, it's not stopping. And I went to France around 2002, and I found out that La Petite Maison dans la Prairie est très, très, très populaire en France.
It's pretty.
They cannot stop watching this thing. And I thought, well, what the heck am I doing? I need to go to France and get in on this. And I did. And I realized that this thing's
Karen lives there, right?
No, she's hanging out in Italy, but she might wind up in Italy. But no, I might wind up in France. Actually, I'm thinking retirement, France. Yeah, that's the place.
I've never been.
Oh my God, it's
We're
awesome.
going to Italy next month, end of the month. In 2 weeks, actually. We got a group of us going to Italy, and I've never been.
Well, it's great. I mean, the food is good in France, but oh boy, Italy, right?
Never been out of the country before.
Oh, geez.
Ever.
Well, you got to go. You got to go. Got to do the thing.
You're telling me the fan base is all across the world.
It's all over the world. So I thought, what the heck am I doing? And, I would watch these talk shows where people who'd been either child stars or they had some show or some character that really stuck.
Yeah.
They'd say, I didn't want to talk about the show and I didn't want to talk about that character. It would take them longer to explain why they couldn't talk about it than it would have taken them to talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many man hours are we wasting here trying to do that? So I thought, well, but it's a good show. I mean, if the show was bad or I thought it was dumb, then, well, yeah. But it's not. It's a good show. It still holds up. And if I didn't like my character or I had a horrible time, but I had a wonderful time doing it and my character was hilarious and awesome. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I was Nellie Oleson. And then it kind of escalated because people, they kind of like Nellie Oleson, especially the French. So I have a whole stand-up one-woman show called Confessions of a Prairie Bitch, which is about, it's about growing up in Hollywood and all kinds of craziness.
That's your book.
And the book, and I have a show. So I have the show, and then I wrote the book. I know that's backwards, right?
It's okay.
But I did. I had the show, and then a literary agent came and saw it and said, is there a book to go with the show? So then I wrote a book.
Not yet. Now there is.
It's like, who does that? Most people write the book, and I didn't do it. I did it the other way around. And so I talk about it, and then we have this Little House podcast, which is definitely all about Little House. We talk about episodes. We interviewed many of the cast members. But I do personal appearances. Oh, I'm going to Burr Oak, Iowa later this year. Not as exciting as Italy. But the reason I'm excited to go to Burr Oak, I mean, yes, it's a Little House appearance. There's all these real places that the real Laura really and truly lived. And I've been able to visit them. So I've been to Walnut Grove. I lost count how many times. I've been to De Smet, South Dakota twice. I've been to Independence, Kansas once. I've been to Mansfield, Missouri, where she was living when she wrote the books. And I'm going to get my Laura Ingalls bingo card fully stamped.
What's on the bingo card? What is this?
Well, I'm saying that they actually do sell little tiny passports in some of the museums where you can check off, have you been to all the official Laura sites? And when I go to Burr Oak, Iowa,
that'll be it.
I will have punched all my Laura card. I don't know what I win, a free Coke or something, but yes.
Yeah. And it's got to feel.
But I'm into that.
It's got to feel special to you because, like, I can sit here and tell you how special Little House on the Prairie is to me, being someone who watched it growing up and through my life. You literally represent. You are the face of a character that the real Laura Ingalls Wilder actually wrote about, and I think made up, right? A fictional.
3 people. It took 3 people to be me. Is what happened. So. Poor Laura, she goes to school in Walnut Grove, Minnesota, an adorable little town.
This is the true story.
True story. And she gets there, and there's this girl named Nellie Owens. Of all things. It was the Owens family, who weren't Nels and Harriet. They were Margaret and Philip, but their children were Nellie and Willie. And Nellie is awful to her. She has to go through this. Then they leave Walnut Grove, and she thinks, well, that's over. And later she gets to De Smet, South Dakota, where there's a girl named Genevieve Masters, who's apparently worse. And another girl
She's the Nancy.
She's because she's the teenage one, so she's trying to get her boyfriend. It's like all that kind of. And there's also a girl named Stella Gilbert, horrible. And she's like, I thought I got rid of this one. So when she is older and writing the books, first she writes Little House in the Big Woods. Yep. She thinks it's a standalone. She has no idea. Her second book's actually Farmer Boy. Well, I'll write about my husband Almanzo's childhood. It'd be great. And then she finds out, no, the thing is taken off. It's gone viral. 1930s version of going viral.
And then she writes as her third book.
So she goes, okay, Little House in the Prairie. And then, Plum Creek. And she goes, well, I'm not going to say her name, for heaven's sake. So I'll say Olson, make it Olson. That's safe. And so it becomes Nellie Oleson. The character was a hit from the get-go. She starts writing more books. People are writing in. But what happened to Nellie? Can there be more Nellie?
Bring her back, yeah.
Like, she must have been so mad.
So
she put together the 3 girls so she could, Nellie just magically shows up in this other town. So that way she took all the terrible things the 3 girls did and made them one really terrible person.
And who better to play that role?
And only I. Only I.
Who could be so bad?
It was 3
Alison.
people in real life that were bad enough to be me.
Oh, wow. Again, all compliments to you. But
it's pretty cool.
You're a comedian. That is so cool.
Yeah.
And I can tell I have this conversation. You're very funny. I know that I know parts of your story.
Right.
And we're going to, as we have the last 15, 20 minutes, however long we've been talking here, lots of laughing, lots of jokes. But I know a lot of your story, especially early on.
Yeah.
there's not much humor in a lot of that. There's a very serious side to a lot of the stuff you've been through.
Yeah. Before I got to be Nellie, things were rough. Yeah.
And I don't want to shy away from that either with whatever you're willing to open up to with your story here. But if we can kind of take it back to, we talked about who you are today and what you're doing. Can we take it back to the beginning a little bit?
Sure, yeah. Well, I started acting when I was 5, which is great. My Screen Actors Guild card says member since 1967.
Where were you born?
I was born in New York and raised in Hollywood.
Okay.
So I, like several other million people, I was sexually and physically abused as a kid. I got bullied at school. I was pathologically shy. I was shy. I know. I tell my friends, I go, yes, I was very shy. And people laugh in my face now because they're like, no, yeah, how?
You?
Yeah, they go, no, you're not shy. No, I was very shy, really. They go, but when I was little, I was, because I was this abused, bullied kid, and I was afraid of my own shadow.
Sure. Was this in your household?
Yes, which is usually 80% of the time where that happens. And I was a wee little thing, and so yes, I was totally like shy and bullied and strange, and at some point, I went like, well, the only way out is through. As I grew up, I decided I didn't like being shy. I read about people like Bette Midler and the actress Nancy Walker. Very, very bold personalities, both of them. And how they had both been painfully shy. Nancy Walker, who was like, oh my God, that one she had that great Josephine the Plumber commercial. Very, very brassy broad. And she had been shy. And Bette Midler of all people, shy as anything, she said in high school. And they all overcame it. And I thought, now, wait a minute. There's got to be some system here. This is great. If these two can overcome it, clearly. And I actually, in my book, the Bette Midler School of Overcompensation. And it was when I was really... I
don't think you overcompensated at all.
I started on the show. And even on the show, the first few months, I was a little shy. But the problem was you can't work a job, and you certainly can't work a job in Hollywood when you're dealing with directors and crew and be like staring your shoes all day. You have to be able to stand up and look at people in the eye.
At what age were you when you started to be like, hey, I want to come out of my shell? Like, I want to...
About 12. Okay. I was like, this ain't going to work.
And did you know you wanted to be an actress at this point?
Yeah, I started acting when I was really little, and I kind of liked it. And it's interesting because when I was 12, they'd have the contracts. In my day, they still do it in some places. Approved by a judge. It was all I'm pleased to say Little House on the Prairie did everything by the book and followed all the rules, which was very nice. We really did have 3-hour school. We really did knock off when our 8 hours was up and our 4 hours work and 3 hours school. Followed everything by the book. Many shows did not. There's many child actors who have horrible stories about how they broke every single rule. Not on Little House. So one of the things was we had proper contracts overseen by a judge because they're minors. And me and Tracy Savage, who's on the show, both went to court the same day. And there we are with our parents and managers and whatnot. And there's these lawyers from NBC and all this stuff. And the judge says, okay, this is great. I'm approving this. But wait, not everyone's going to tell you this, but you do realize they're minors. And legally, they can't sign a contract. Now, this is Hollywood, and minors sign contracts every day. We're going to play along. I'm putting a thing in this contract right now that if at 14, either of these girls decide this was a mistake and they want out, they can opt out of this contract. And I was like, whoa, dude. So, very cool judge. By 14, though, I was now doing the episodes like going down a hill in a wheelchair and all the cool stuff. And I said, oh, yeah. This is a good deal. This is a thing I'd like to do.
Yeah.
And by then I was settled in and said, no, acting and entertaining.
Was that season 2? Season 2?
About season 2, season 3. Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's back up a little bit. Yeah. So let's start with, let's go into, you knew you wanted to be an actress.
Yeah.
And how did you get the role of Nellie?
Well, I'd been auditioning for literally everything. I just said to someone the other day, I could have been on Nanny and the Professor. Yeah. I read for everything. And
did you act in anything before Little House?
Oh, God, yeah. I started with some commercials and things. I did, an episode of Room 222, which was all the rage then. I did a bunch of commercials. And when I was 10, I did a movie called Throw Out the Anchor. with Dina Marilyn, Richard Egan, who were very big at the time.
Sounds fancy. Don't know who they are.
Fancy. It was actually, okay, there was a movie called Houseboat with Sophia Loren and all that. Yeah, this was the cheap, low rent, like Temu version of Houseboat. It was totally low rent, but it was really fun to do. Got paid. I spent like a month in Florida in the forest on a river.
And as a kid, you're like, woo.
Yeah, I got to hang out on a river. I got to keep the wardrobe. It was great. But I was lead role in this movie. And then I did a thing when I was really little called it's called Juvenile Jury. All right. I said you're young, but you've probably heard of like the whole Art Linkletter, kids say the darndest things. They interview smart aleck kids on TV.
I know you're talking, yeah.
They've done like 8 different versions of this over the years.
Yeah.
There was one when I was little called Juvenile Jury, and 5 children were put on a panel, and we were asked questions, topics of the day. Kids would write in. We'd have guests we'd interview, and I was on that for like, I don't know how many episodes. A lot. I was like a panelist.
And you have an
panelist.
agent at this point helping you.
Oh yeah, I had an agent is like a baby.
Yeah.
So I'm auditioning regularly. And do. In fact, the funny part is my father sat me down at about 11 and said, "Now you haven't really worked since the film. I don't know. You might not work again till you're 18, or maybe never. These things happen at show business." So I was technically having a midlife crisis, like, washed up at 11. And then I got Little House at 12. So that was the comeback. People say you're making a comeback. That was the
Midlife
comeback.
crisis at 11.
My first comeback.
Oh, you were really
was
going
12.
through it.
But it was hysterical because I read for the part of Laura, didn't get it, and was like, but of course not. Read for Mary, didn't get it. And then they said, come back to Paramount for this other audition. I went, but wait, we did that. They made the pilot. It was great.
Oh, so the show had already started. You haven't been cast yet because they made the movie.
They made the movie, and now they were going to make the rest of it.
Between the when they started filming the movie to when they started filming the TV show, how much time was there?
Gosh, we did months and months. I mean, it would have been longer, but of course they bought it like immediately because it's Michael Landon. But I went in. I didn't know there was a Nellie Oleson. I hadn't read the books, so and I couldn't. And then I wound up reading for Nellie and got it immediately.
When you who did you read in front of? Like
Michael Landon, Kent McRae, the other producer, Ed Friendly, all the original producers, 3 guys on a couch. I go in, and that's what's so crazy is I go in, I'm like, but I read for this. No, there's other characters. They're doing the whole series now. Oh, there's other. Oh, okay, sure, fine. What? No clue. No clue. They didn't tell me the name of the character, that the character was mean. I hadn't read the books. Clueless, cold. Go in. They give me the pages, and as soon as I read them, I said, oh my God. This girl's horrible.
I got this.
Immediately.
I got
She's
this.
so bad. And I turned to my father, said, this is not normal. He said, what do you mean? I said, not a normal part. She's horrible. He said, what? I said, this girl is a total bitch. I'm 12. My father starts laughing. He goes, okay, wait, what? I start reading it for him. He cracks up. He says, okay, don't rehearse it again. Don't look at do that. Just do whatever the heck you just did.
Yeah.
So I go in, and there's Michael Landon and Kent McRae and then Ned Friend, the original. And I go, okay, yeah. I'm reading the thing. Yeah.
Did you know who Michael Landon was going in?
Somewhat. I mean, wasn't a big Bonanza fan. I'd seen it. And also he had like, their car commercials and things back then he did. He didn't do the Kodak yet. But
I'm asking because I'm just so excited listening to this. So like I'm trying to feel the room with you. Like you going into audition for the first time as Nellie Oleson. You walk into this room, you know who this guy is a little bit. You think this role is ridiculous. It's a mean girl, and your dad said the way you made a comment about this, go do that in front of him.
Go do that. Don't do anything else.
You walk into this room,
and it's I know I'm reading for producer, so it's like this is serious, and I'm going now for the people who had to read for the show, who'd watch Bonanza every day, who had crushes on Michael Landon. Oh my God, they almost had nervous breakdowns. Yeah. Luckily, I was like, yeah, the guy who was Little Joe.
It wasn't a big deal to you.
Thank God, blasé about that.
And I had heard that like Melissa Gilbert went in and didn't even know who it was.
Not a clue. This was really low. Yeah. Many people had no clue, and other people were like,
and that was to your advantage, no doubt.
Yes, the less you knew, the better.
If you going in front of strangers and trying to audition is a lot better than going in front of oh my gosh, a celebrity, right?
If I
It's
really had watched Bonanza and really understood who Michael Landon was, I probably would have faked it.
Yeah.
But I was like, he seems nice. So, and he was very nice. That's the thing. You come in and you know how people say someone has a smile, the 5,000 watt smile lights up the room. He really did. So was very welcoming, and he always was. Big smile, come in, come in, come in. So I start reading the thing, and they start laughing, and then they start really laughing, and then these 3 grown men are laughing so hard they're elbowing each other in the ribs and like
From what
crying.
you're doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm 12, and it's that my home speech. And then they said, could you do it again, please? I said, yes. Do you want me to change something? They said,
do you know it?
They go, just read the part about the house again. What got them was, so this little tiny girl comes in and proceeds to, for her school essay, talk about how much everything in her house cost. It's hysterical.
Yeah.
My home is the best home in all of Walnut Grove. It's a riot. The funniest part is she says, and it still makes me laugh. It's a very funny bit. She says, we had 3 sets of dishes, one for every day, one for Sunday, and one for when someone very special and important comes to visit, which we have never even used yet. She's just announced, like, yeah.
She is such a...
You don't know anybody famous or important. No one is coming. You live in a tiny town in Minnesota.
Yes.
No one is coming. And
Nobody's coming, yes.
And she's such an idiot. She just bragged about the great dishes, which we've never used yet. Yes, you moron. And it's very funny because she doesn't know how ridiculous she's being. And so I guess they were sort of amazed that at 12, I totally got the joke and like got it.
You understood it. Yeah.
I totally understood. I went, oh, this is very funny. Yeah. And so when and they laughed again. And by the time I got out the door and into the car and my father drove us home, my agent was on the phone. They had already called and made
They said,
a deal.
this is it.
They said, we're done.
So
I was hired immediately.
And you knew right away, this is it.
Yeah, that was it.
How did you feel?
Oh, well, first of all actors, and beyond anything else at 12, I was an actor and my whole family were actors. I was an actor, and that's what you did. Oh my God, you got the job. So that was, everybody goes nuts. Wait, I got a series. Oh, well, as opposed to, I got a summer replacement show or a pilot or I got a series.
Or a Timu, whatever.
Oh, I got a sold series, a network series on NBC that's already
with Michael
been
Landon.
Sold with a major star in it. They've already bought it. It's not like a pilot. Maybe they're going to run it. Maybe they're not. I've just signed on. I'm going to have a 7-year contract on an actual series. That's huge. It was like winning the lottery. We were very, very excited.
What a great story. It's kind of a redemption story too because of the household you came from. But how was the home life at this point? When you're going into Little House on the Prairie, was any of that stuff resolved, or were you?
No, see, that's the thing. It was all unresolved. The abuse had stopped because I got too big for that sort of thing. But I was still, yes, you don't tell people. People don't tell people. I think they talk about how many people, the average age for disclosure is like 21 years later. People don't tell anybody till they're in their 20s or 30s or older.
Why is that?
Well, one, they're usually told, oh, absolutely don't tell. Something horrible will happen to you if you tell. Like, oh yeah, you'll go to jail. Yeah, you'll be away. Yeah.
And there's a sense of shame I think people feel.
Well, yeah, you're like
misplaced.
No one can know. No one can know.
Yeah.
Or oh my God, maybe they can tell. It's awful. And you're told not to tell. And then you're like, well, I don't want to talk about this. And then you're like, and who would I tell? And what would they even do? I mean, it's like such a disaster. And you're told all sorts of crap when you're a kid. So you're like, oh, yeah, no one will understand. In reality, had I told people, there were people who would have understood and absolutely would have done something. But like, you don't know that when you're a small child. And when the abusers say, oh, no, absolutely no one will believe you and you shouldn't tell anyone. So it's so awful. So I go to work. And I've gone, and then there's the hilarious part. Oh my God, you got a series. Wait, what are you playing? You're playing who? You're playing Nellie. You're playing the horrible. How did this happen? You're the villain. What is going on? And then I get there, and I'm playing this character who yells and screams and throw things, and it's like therapy. I'm going in, and they're saying, "Scream your head off, thrash around the room, break everything."
You didn't even know the cameras were rolling half.
Yes, it was like, this is awesome. I'm getting paid to go to therapy, and I was able to vent all my angst, because that's the thing. The big thing, and you'll hear it from everyone who suffered abuse, you're holding in anger for years and years and years. And usually it turns inward. And the doctors say depression is learned helplessness and anger turned inward. And you usually turn your anger inward when it's something you're keeping a secret. And it does this is why people go through terrible, terrible things. And here I was being told, outward, please take all of your anger and dump it here. And I'm like, okay.
Did
Awesome.
the Little House on the Prairie production team or anyone in that this this whole Hollywood scene for
Yeah.
you, like your agent or any of these people, Michael, did these people know what you were going through at home?
Not a clue. And a billion years later, when I started talking about it publicly and told people, yes, I had a couple of people from the crew, including a woman who had been a set teacher, say, if you had told me then, I'd have absolutely reported it, and I absolutely would have done whatever I had to do to protect you and totally gone to the cops and the whole thing. Yeah, you could. And as an adult who knows these people, of course I could have told Michael. Of course I could have told any of those people on the
scary.
set, and they absolutely would have helped me. But when you're a kid, you don't. That doesn't compute.
Yeah.
Logic is not
No.
there. You don't have it, and you're told that this is how the world works. So you don't tell
And
anybody.
I think it's there's probably, and I don't understand it like you do, of course, but there's probably got to be a like when you're a kid, you're 12 years old at this time,
Yeah.
and you have no or very little sense of independence,
Right.
And you're dependent on your household where this is coming from. So it's like, how do you now?
Exactly.
Independent Allison, adult Allison, knows how to be strong, and that was something that you didn't.
Yeah, long road. I mean, yeah. I let's see, how many shrinks am I on now? You do years of therapy, years of reading about it. When you really learn more about it, you go, oh wait, that makes sense now. My work with Protect. I'm president of the National Association to Protect Children,
Awesome.
an organization that also does charity, and we also had a whole lobbying arm. We've been able to change laws around the country to better protect victims, to
Wow.
get more funding for law enforcement who directly target these kind of crimes. Really cool stuff. And when you're doing that and you're working with law enforcement and psychologists and attorneys and attorney generals and prosecutors, they start explaining things. You go, wait, that makes sense. I go, yeah, no, this is how this works. Yes, I know. They all lie. They all lie. They all tell you not to tell.
Yeah.
They all tell you no one will believe you. They all tell you the
course
same
they
thing.
do.
And you find out as you talk to more people who've been abused, you go, all these guys are reading from the same book. They're not very bright. For some reason, people who abuse children have no originality. I got to say, that's one of the hallmarks. They are all reading from the same instruction manual. They all tell you the same BS story about why you shouldn't tell. It's almost identical. It's ridiculous.
Wow. And can I ask, when did that change for you? When were you able to get out of that situation? Was it a time when you moved out, or did that follow you?
Honestly, I was really, because I was about 9 when the major part of the abuse stopped, and part of it was I went out of town to do a movie. It's like kind of broke
At
the
what
cycle.
age?
Like about 10 years old, I left to do a movie and came back and kind of moved on because it was like the break. And then I moved out of the house at like 17 because, well, I had a job. I had money. I got an apartment.
Yeah.
And when I got to be 18, I had a trust fund, and yes, they didn't steal it. Woo! And so, which many child actors, they stole their money. I got the first nickel I ever made. So I bought a condo and did all that stuff. And as I got out, I was like, this is great. But that's when it catches up with you. See, you've seen people who are like workaholics. If you're like work, and you're doing this and you're doing this, you're focused on that. Whatever your problem is, you can kind of shove it to the side and go about your business. Then you get a break. Well, finally. So series ends. I'm living in this lovely condo. I have money. I have this. And you go, well, now, oh, right, that. And that's when it sneaks up on you. And so that's when I did. I went and sought professional help. I absolutely sought therapy and did everything I needed to do. It's like, okay, what do I need to do to make all of this anxiety, all this depression, all of this garbage that's still sitting there go away or convert it into something? What do we do? And here I am.
And I know that you, obviously, what it sounds like, you talking about how you're on this board. What did you call that board?
Yeah, the board of directors of the National Association to Protect Children, or protect.org.
So you have obviously made it part of your life to help people who are in similar situations that, young Allison was in.
Indeed. And that is also helpful, too. In fact, any kind of volunteer work, and it's good for you. They know that psychologically. But they've also found making a difference in that way actually psychologically and can physically help people. There was actually a study done because, I also volunteered with AIDS Project Los Angeles, helping people with HIV/AIDS, helping people get education about how not to catch it, et cetera, et cetera. And while I was there, and I went to things like the International AIDS Conference a couple of times, there was a study they did, people with HIV who had taken up volunteer work helping other people with AIDS. And they actually tested them medically, gave them physicals, drew blood. The people who were working to make things better and help others in the same situation had a better medical outcome, literally had better blood work and were in better shape. So it actually does something for you. And I absolutely believe that the stuff I've done with Protect has helped me enormously.
I mean, if you could go tell, 9-year-old Alison some advice, or anyone in that position, what is that?
The person who's doing this to you is a big fat liar and doesn't know what they're talking about. They're making this up, and you need to go tell someone immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately, yesterday, anyone. And if they don't listen or they try to blow it off and say, no, that's not serious, or they don't believe you, tell someone else.
Yeah.
And keep telling them until someone comes to the house and makes this stop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Yeah. Just be open about it. Tell someone. Get help.
Tell someone.
Yeah.
They all say, don't tell anyone. You're the one who'll get in trouble. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
They won't believe you. And they're lying.
And there's got to be some kind of a self-worth that takes from someone to be abused and to be
absolutely
lied to and manipulated.
100%.
It's got to be tough to discover who you are, especially growing up.
And you have the additional thing of when you start working in a career at 5, people who are in their late teens, early 20s, people going to college, getting out of college. These are people saying, well, now what do I want to do with my life? What's my career? Who am I? People say, I can figure out who I am. Your late teens, early 20s. What if the world says this is who you are and you're 7?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
So, that's a problem. So finding an identity, you'll see a lot of ex-child stars will sometimes do crazy things. It's because they're having to go find their own identity, prove themselves in another, do something that isn't that to show that, I'm also good at other things, to make sure that they go, am I interesting or exciting aside from that? And they have to go find out. And sometimes they do it in healthy ways, sometimes maybe not so healthy, but everyone does it. They have to go find another venue, as it were.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you go, oh, no, actually, I am a regular human being, but I have this lovely thing, the show I was on, so that's okay.
Lovely. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So if you have that, and if you couple that, if you have abuse and you have a whole childhood career with the responsibility of an adult and stuff, that's a heck of a double whammy.
Yeah, I bet. So let's, you had said, you walked into the room, and I hear this a lot about Michael Landon, that he does have his charisma, right?
Super.
I'll hear it from, most of the cast where you walk in and you just get hit with it. This guy is excited, he's fun, and he's there.
It literally, he would smile, and he'd have this big, those aviator sunglasses, the badass Michael Landon sunglasses, and the hair and the muscles, and the shirt. The shirt is open. The shirt is all the way down, and there's a gold chain. The muscles.
I had heard that he would always write it in the script to break his ribs so he could have his shirt off.
Yes, I'm telling you. Go watch the show. How many times I talk about it in the act? I go, seriously, does Paul ever break anything but his ribs?
Yeah.
Not an arm,
I just imagine Michael Landon been I haven't had a shirtless scene in a while.
I haven't had the shirt
or
off.
he's been hitting the gym lately, and he just kind of writes, Charles breaks his ribs.
That shirt was off, and I'm sorry, people in the 1800s didn't wear their pants that tight, and they didn't wear their shirt open like that. Yeah. Nobody was exposing themselves this way.
Hey, you know what? If it was going to be anyone, it was going to be Michael Landon, so let him do it.
In the field with just the suspenders and no shirt. People in the 1800s, even when it was hot, were like, well, I can't possibly go out without my shirt. No, they didn't do that. But he's romping around with half his clothes. It's hysterical. And in real life, he greets you, and he's in the tight jeans and the open shirt with the gold chain and the brilliant teeth and the big sun. You just go, you, sir, must be a celebrity of some kind. If you'd never seen Bonanza, if you didn't know, you'd go, I take it you are a celebrity of some sort. Right. Because he just would explode into the room.
Yeah.
And he was very nice, and the big grin. Now, Taskmaster, those episodes, we were banging him out. We were ahead of schedule and under budget and all that. We worked. I remember I had
And for anyone,
it was crazy.
For the listeners, Michael Landon is the writer, producer, and director of most of it.
Yeah, he let a few people let them direct, and he wrote a lot of them. And even when episodes say, written by, so this person would come in and written a script. We had certain writers who wrote over and over again, that you'll see their names all the time. He had a writer's room, like they would now for, a sitcom, and he would say, okay, this is a great episode, but what's it need? I think, and like there'd be a subplot would get written. There'd be some extra thing he would add, and he'd say, you know, I like this, but I think it should change. I think it should be more upsetting in this part.
I think Charles should break his ribs here.
I think Charles should break his ribs and take his shirt off.
Yeah, the only problem with this is you had Charles have a shirt on.
Charles is dressed through the whole episode. Yeah. So he would work. So he would go, I think it needs a little. And so all of the episodes he tinkered with. And then even when he let someone direct, I mean, he's there going, so do you think they should? It's like, you know, I would hate for some poor director who really thought he's going to get all his own way to be like, but that's why he had directors who got this, who were like, okay, we're sharing the same vision. I'm going to do this. And like Claxton, but William Claxton, he knew William Claxton was going to do the same kind of thing. He knew that Victor French, the one who played Mr. Edwards, was going to knock it out of the park. So he would leave them alone.
Did Victor French direct a lot?
Yes. Oh. He directed one of my favorites, the music box. The talking machine where I record Laura.
You would record it, yeah.
Victor French directed that. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So good. So we had any director who made the cut was brilliant. Yeah. But Michael directed and he wrote and he produced and everything. So he oversaw the whole thing. And I had people who visited the set who would look, you know, the call sheet and say, this says you're shooting like 12 pages today. Now, remember, this is before digital. You can, you know, now look how these lights are barely even bright. Look how everything is so simple. Look how tiny the cameras are. Yeah. Back in our day, enormous 35 millimeter film, giant Panavision cameras, huge bright lights. I feel like I'm Mary Pickford talking about the 20s, but it was a whole other world.
For a fraction of the quality.
But yeah, it was another world. Now, we had good quality. In fact, when the DVDs came out and the Blu-ray, they remastered from the original 35 millimeter, and it's stunning.
What I watch on streaming now is really just, I mean, like I'll go back and I can watch the VHS, or like we grew up on the old, even the DVDs, which were remastered. But now again, it is a whole.
It's still, now it's a whole other thing. You can see every pore in people's faces. Terrible. But it's like, it was a whole other world. And it was complicated. You'd finish a scene, then you'd say next you have to move all of this equipment that doesn't even exist now. So it was the thing. So people would look at our call sheet and go, you can't shoot 12 pages in a day. And this is on location. This is out in Simi. We're outdoors and things. There's no way you can do 12 pages in one day. And I'd say, well, we did 14 yesterday. Where were you? And that's the thing is we would finish this hour-long episode that was shot like a freaking movie. I mean, you've seen it with the sunrises and all the beautiful things. And that would be done in 5, maybe 6 days.
Really? A full episode?
Yes.
Wow.
And it just would go from, you know, you'd show up at 4 or 5 in the morning to get that good light. But we did it. And that was because Mike was like, okay, go, let's go. Next step, chop. So, yeah, I mean.
But, and to be, I don't know if the word is rushed, but like clearly, like, hey, we have a schedule to keep, and to hold such quality.
And it still was perfect because he always knew what he was going to shoot before he got there. He was like, he would come in and go, okay, I want to do this. I want to do the master. I want to do a close up and a close up. And some people say, well, don't you want to do a shot of this way and that way and the other close up? And he went, no, I know what I'm doing. I want this, this, and this. And there's shots. Okay, you've watched a show. There's these brilliant scenes where it's like they practically don't do anything. There's a scene like Pa has to tell Caroline bad news, and it's the worst. Now, that could have been close-ups of people sobbing in a long scene. No. Long shot, Pa gets out of the wagon, walks up to her, she stops.
She's in the distance, and you just see her.
They come together, you see him talking to her, you see her break down. In the distance, he hugs her. That's it. That's the whole scene.
That's directing right there.
Because it works, and he knew what worked, and so he would do things like that. I see things all the time, and I go, that could have taken 3 days, but he did it that way. It was very, very brilliant.
And you didn't realize probably until you were watching it.
Yeah, right. As
growing up, like, wow, I appreciate that.
I mean, there were times where I went, ooh, that was really cool. But yeah, as an adult, you go, oh, wow, okay, now, hello.
Yeah.
But yeah, even at 12, there were times I went, that's clever. Oh, he thought, I get it. Okay. But we were very like, go, go, go. I mean, I later did a movie in France with a very crazy French director, Jean-Pierre Mocky. And when I was shooting it, and he was like, okay, fine, cut, print, next, let's go.
Yeah.
And the crew were like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. What? And they go, ugh, he's always in such a hurry. It's
this is normal for me.
We work so fast. I went, clearly, you've never worked with Michael.
Yeah.
Clearly. But yeah, so was he a taskmaster? Yeah. Did you have to be on your game?
And if you weren't?
Yeah. Oh.
Like, what was that other side of Michael Landon?
You don't want his lips to disappear. If you made the face where suddenly the nostrils flare and just the lips disappear, it's like, oh, and we're in trouble now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, no, you would be told, like, no, you have to, we're doing this.
You have to, yeah.
And it was very clear you didn't screw around. If someone was terribly lazy, this was not a show you needed to be on. If you couldn't do it, there are people who just weren't there anymore. I used to say you could be killed in a buggy crash, you have to be careful.
Yeah.
So when it came to that, was he strict? Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But 5 minutes later, he'd be playing some practical joke or telling some stupid story and making everyone laugh because that's who he was.
Yeah. What was and you see, you can, that's what I hear from everyone, right? It's like people are saying, hey, he is on it. Like it is work hard, play hard, right?
Yeah, bingo.
Yeah.
That's
so what is the energy on set like? Like, tell me about the culture. And I think probably driven mostly by Michael Landon, but also hundreds of actors and actresses
and crew. So already in just trying to talk about how we made TV in the 70s, I feel like, and in the 1920s, when we went from the silence to the talkies, it's already like I'm 100 years old. But weirder still is the majority of the crew and many actors had been on Bonanza with him. So he took, cinematographer and the key grips and the lighting. He took all these crew people there because they loved him. He said, "Hey, I got a new show." They were like, "I'm
Let's
there."
go. Yeah.
They follow. They all wound up working a Highway to Heaven. Who has that kind of relationship where the whole crew follows them like their own personal army from show to show? So they came over. So these guys were old. They were older, and then the makeup and hair people were very old. And then we had actors who've been. So you had old Hollywood.
Yeah.
Our makeup man was Marilyn Monroe's makeup man, Whitey Allen Snyder. The
Really?
Whitey Allen Snyder, to read all the books about Marilyn, that guy. We had Gladys, we had Larry Germain. Larry Germain had been Betty Davis's hairdresser. Gladys and Larry, they had all worked with Joan Crawford, Betty Davis, Marilyn Monroe, Linda Darnell, Faye Dunaway, you name it. They were the old guard of Hollywood. They talked about being in the studio system and the big stars that came. They were there.
Yeah.
And that's who was... So we were learning at the feet of the masters, every day.
Guess so these people these weren't rookies that came on set. They'd been in the.
They'd been doing this longer than we'd been alive. So you didn't tell the hairdresser, "I think you have it wrong." Yeah, no, I don't think so. It was good enough for Joan Crawford and Betty Davis. But because of that, they were older, which also meant it was that kind of like on Mad Men, like the 3 martini lunch. They came from an era everybody smoked and everybody drank. Like all the time.
Wow.
And there was no health food and there was no vegetarian option and there was no gluten-free muffins on the the donut table, the snack table. Like now, craft services, the snacks.
Yeah.
Oh, you have all this lovely food. It's all very healthy and there's like the gluten-free. And there's no. There was coffee and hot water, a box of sugar cubes, a carton of milk, and then boxes
and cigarettes.
I'm surprised they didn't put them out for the children.
Yeah.
Boxes of donuts and like bear claws. That was the morning snack. The prop men were in charge of the booze and the cigarettes as well as the candy. So everybody was hanging out at their truck going, "Can you set me up?" And the whole cast and crew, let's see, there were a few actors who'd quit smoking by then. The children were not smoking, thank heavens. But Michael and the crew and many actors were all standing. So in this next, they're all puffing on Marlboros all over the place. And beer. The crew went through a couple cases a day and were like proud of it.
Would people be drunk acting?
No. See, that's what's so weird. I think everything was so hyper at such a pace. They were like burning it off or something because these guys were going up ladders and hanging lights. I'm going, I know that they're like living on beer because one of the guys
watched it.
He said, well, he came to me and said, we had to send someone out to the store because we're low on beer. And, some days it's a 2 case day, sometimes it's a 3 case day, minimum really 2.5. We're down to 1 case, and production will come to a grinding halt if we ever run out of beer. And I'm like, well, forget of that. But they all had the beer cans. Michael often would have a shot of whatever he was drinking that day, Wild Turkey, whiskey, or something like that. The prop truck was had a whole bar. And at the end of each day, when they were done, and you could say, okay, well, now they're done. Oh, then they'd put up like a bar. They put the boards on a couple sawhorse, set up the bar, and start really drinking. And the Christmas party and the wrap party, well, that was, everybody had a designated driver because that was insane. And I remember just thinking, how are these people still like awake to do this?
Yeah.
That was, their tolerance was God knows what, because they were out of the 50s. These guys were out of the 50s where you drank and you smoked.
This was the normal. Yeah.
They did not think this was weird.
Tell me about... a fan favorite, Catherine McGregor. Yes. Tell me about her. Mrs. Oleson, your mother, the other villain. This is kind of like...
She had at least quit smoking and drinking by the time she showed up.
Okay, bye.
One of the few people who's not. Catherine McGregor.
So
okay.
let me give a preface, if you don't mind, for the listeners. Catherine McGregor, we know her, Mrs. Oleson. My perspective as a viewer, she is just nasty.
The worst.
Every single time there's an issue in Walnut Grove, which is every episode, she never fails to pick the immoral side. Every single time.
She's always wrong. What is it? Whenever with the bullies come to town and she's like
Yes.
siding with them, the people are beating up Miss Beadle. It's like, who is it?
Somehow she has an argument of, well, I agree with them. She is
Every
always
time.
the worst.
And she was racist and anti-Semitic and
all
whatever
of it.
ism you had, she was it.
so mad at, I forget their name. What's his name? The black guy that comes to town.
Oh, yeah. She said the black man couldn't come to church because we were made in
He's a black
God's image
man.
and God is white. She literally says this on national television.
And then I'm embarrassed. I can't think of her name. Sue.
When Melissa.
No.
Oh, no.
The black lady.
Oh, Hester Sue.
Hester Sue.
Yes,
That's
yes.
Sue. And she
Kenny
comes
Lester.
in, the sweetest lady ever, and somehow Mrs. Oleson has a problem.
Well, that was a fabulous episode because that's where Mrs. Oleson.
That's where she learned.
Stood on her own petard. She kept saying, "Oh, the Terhunes. Is it the St. Louis Terhunes?" And is obsessed that it's some rich family, the Terhunes.
And then she sees she's
meets her,
black.
and she goes, Terhune? Yeah, no, Mississippi. Which Terhunes did you mean? It's hysterical. Well, and the funny thing is, when Catherine shot the scene where she's saying that this man cannot come to church because he is not white, Catherine almost couldn't shoot it because she was cracking herself up because she said, this is the stupidest thing
so stupid.
I've ever said. She said, I don't believe any of this.
Yeah.
Also, she was going to the ashram, the Vedanta Center in LA, and on trips to India to meet with her Swami. So she said, I don't know what you guys believe, but God's black woman, where I come from. So there. So yeah, she was a Hindu. So
Wow. She was all through?
Yeah.
Wow.
And she gave me books on meditation, its methods, and the cradle of Hinduism. And she actually took me to meet Swami Chetananda, who did the translations of Swami Vivekananda's books. I know, like what?
I'm
But
just laughing
yes.
because it is so true that like anything a bad person would do,
She did it.
She was, and like
And poor Nels. Poor Nels.
But to be fair, he needed to put his foot down, everyone.
He needed to
and it
stand
was
up,
so
yeah.
satisfying when he would. It was so satisfying.
She was brilliant, and she knew what she was doing.
Yes.
Nicest lady. Now, eccentric and cuckoo like Mrs. Oleson, but very, very
Was she?
sweet. She would drive to work 80, 90 miles an hour. The police pull her over, and she would argue with him and try to talk her way out of the ticket. Total full Mrs. Oleson.
Of course. I'm Mrs. Oleson.
She had an argument for every occasion, highly opinionated, and would tell you so. Very bossy. Always wanted to tell me what to eat, what to wear, who to date, who not date, yada, yada, yada.
Really?
And luckily, Nels, Mr. Oleson, Richard Bolt, would have to step in sometimes as if he was like, it was like,
As if he
"Are you
was-
guys rehearsing a freaking scene. Because
Yeah.
he would have to step and go, now, Catherine, we must be reasonable. I'm like, okay, this is getting too funny. But she took us kids to the movies, and she was so sweet, and she took in stray people and animals. And took care of sick people in her building. I mean, she was like a freaking saint.
And she passed what, 2019?
I think so. I know she was in her 90s, mid 90s. She did very well. Very well.
Oh my God, I'm just cracking up at when we were laughing about this. You know, that's just how terrible she is. There's that scene when you're talking about marrying Percival, and you tell her that he's Jewish.
She almost falls out the window. Jewish. Oh my God. Exactly. This is the kind of stuff she did. And she was brilliant at it. But on all of the, I mean, oh my God, no, she was the absolute opposite of any of that.
She was sweet.
Yeah. I
Wow.
mean, she was, like I said, very bossy, very opinionated like Miss. I always said she was the kind of person, you know, their glasses are on their head, and they said, where are my glasses? No, they're not on my head. What have you done with my glasses? I mean, she had that kind of thing going. She was very, very nuts, like Mrs. Oleson. So kind.
She obviously, I'm going to say this, no offense to any other actor, actress on the show, she was probably at least up there with the most talented actress on that
Brilliant. No, truly.
Unbelievable talent.
And okay, you mentioned like Hester Sue, the fabulous Katie Lester. Ketty and Catherine were that was like one of her best buddies. They were absolutely besties.
I love
so
that.
yes, all of that stuff with Mrs. Olson, Hester Sue, those two spent more time together than almost anybody.
Wow, it's so fun to hear because you just would never see it. And that was a beautiful episode, just like you said, of when she finally was like, you know what? And yeah, she falls in the creek, that episode. But it was the blind black boy that warmed her heart. And what was so special about Mrs. Olson's character is she was nasty and nasty and nasty 99% of the time, but that 1% where she would stand up for the right thing, it was so impactful because
when she'd crack finally, you'd go, oh.
And you know what broke my heart genuinely to this day is that she wasn't in the last episode.
I know, but
because
it's like things happen in Hollywood and contracts, and she was doing other stuff, and and the usual thing of like, well, are you still in the show? She was done, and then they were making the movies, and then it was like, well, and then she was going to India all the time.
And I had heard
they wouldn't, and they wouldn't pay her enough, and
that's what I had heard.
The combo of all there above is like, nah, I can't be bothered. Yeah, and they were like, well, and I mean, I'm not in the last one. What, Nellie couldn't come in from New York for 5 minutes without, it was one of those things. And that's the thing, because it was kind of, say, an afterthought, but in a way, because we'd done our 7 years, and then it became Little House, A New Beginning, like 2 years.
Which
then,
was,
Then we're like, done. We're done 9 years. We're done. The series is over. But Michael had a deal with NBC to do, TV movies. He said, I got loose ends to wrap up. Can I do a TV movie here? And that's why we had, Bless All the Dear Children, and et cetera, et cetera. And then he said, okay, what do we do? I got to get rid of the sets because you can't leave him there. It's not his.
I had heard a rumor that he got into an argument with the production company and he didn't want them using his sets down the road. And so
people, strangers would have used them. If you leave something, there's a couple old buildings. There's a house that was
and for the listeners, sorry to interrupt, and for the listeners, what happened there in the last episode, the last movie, the finale, for anyone who doesn't know.
Spoiler alert.
Big spoiler alert, yeah. But they lose the land, and it, in the writing, it comes to they have to blow up Walnut Grove.
They
so
blow up
all the sets, every building, except for the church and the little house. Yeah.
They have this thing. So you're on Big Sky Ranch. It's a rental. It's a studio. They film everything there. They're filming there now.
And they actually did it. You guys actually blew all the stuff
they
up.
Actually
so
blew
that's
it out.
sorry,
They
just
blew
saying
it.
that.
They really did. So they're filming stuff there as I speak. I mean, they film endless movies and TV shows there. It's a working huge location.
Where
ranch.
is it?
It's out in Simi Valley, California. I mean, like NCIS is probably setting up a shot as I sit here. So that's what they do. They rent it out.
Is that church still there?
No, it got dismantled. They did take that down. There's a barn.
It's so sad.
A barn that was in Men in Black and I don't know how many other movies. We used that barn. There was a house that we used. We called it the guest star house. It was Mr. Sims' house. When
it was like
Mr.
9 people's house.
It was everybody's house. Move the stuff on the front porch, put some flowers in the window box. Now it's their house.
Yeah.
So we had that. So that's like still there because that was there when we got there. And people were using that house in Gunsmoke and Bonanza. It's been there forever.
Set it up. No.
So they reuse anything that's there. And Michael knew this. And so he's like, okay, they said to return everything to its previous state because I built a whole bloody town. I took up the whole thing. So
and it was there for a decade.
I got to haul this stuff away. That's very expensive, dismantle, haul away. 2, I can't leave it because, as he said, they could make some sex comedy or slasher flick. He said
pervert what we had made so wholesome.
He said poor people who grew up with the show, they're going to see the Little House and Freddy Krueger's climbing through the window. He said I'm not paying for everybody's therapy. He said they're going to make Porky's Revenge or some slasher flick. Not
so
happening.
Really was preserving his legacy.
The memory. He said I got to preserve the memories.
That's cool.
I got to get rid of the buildings. What do I do? And he went, how much is it to take them apart? Well, what if I blew them up? Oh, you could blow them up. That's cheaper. Then we just haul away. And if I blow them up, I have the greatest episode ever in television history. I'm doing it. But he said, I'm not blowing up a church. I'm not going to be the person who blew up a church. Yes. That's never happening. And I'm not blowing up the Little House. I think they wrote it. 6.
Yeah. I think wait, is the Little House still there?
No. They took it apart. Now, the Little House, while they were taking it apart, Stan Ivar, who played remember the couple move in?
Yes.
So,
The young couple in season 9.
So, the Carters. And so he said, hey, what are you going to do with it? And he said, well, throw it away.
What away?
The house, the leftover pieces of the Little House. He said, you can't throw it away. Michael said, well, I don't have room for it. What am I going to do with it? And Stan said, well, I got a ranch I could, and he goes, all yours, loaded up for him. So he took it home. which is cool.
Wait,
It was
wait,
kept
what is
safe.
it? Do you
Well,
mean like
at
the
that point,
boards
it
and
was
the
like
pieces?
huge chunk, like this wall, that wall, some windows.
They
pieces.
just dismantled it and they picked it up in
put
pieces.
it in his truck, and they took it to his house. Now, the problem is he had it in this like little barn shed thing, and he really did a really good job of protecting it. But
No,
dude,
no
it's been
butts,
50
please.
years. It's been 50 years. Weather. Remember, it wasn't. The wood wasn't sealed because it wasn't a real house. It was a set, and they went, eh. So the warping and the hot and the cold, we wanted to, like, can we rebuild it? Not in condition to rebuild, sadly. Not in condition.
Right now, nothing.
It's not, you can't do anything with it. But
I was just about to like whip out $20. And,
right, I'll buy it.
yes, yeah, whatever is left.
Everybody wanted to rebuild it, and when they got there and said, "Okay, yeah, we can't rebuild this." But here's the cool part: had he not, it would have either gone in the trash, or some nefarious, terrible person would have gotten their hands on it. They'd be selling the windows from the little house on eBay. Some terrible person could have bought it and done terrible things with it.
I would have done that.
Or they would have rebuilt it. But it was taken away and hidden from everyone, and no one was
love
allowed to touch it. It was safe at someone we know's house, and nobody got to steal
I
it,
love that.
mess with it, burn it, nothing. So
it withered
there's
away.
that. It died a natural death. It's like, I don't know.
It lived a long.
Maybe we'll make little plaques out of the pieces.
Yeah, I
and
was going to
sell
say,
them
I'm
or
sure there's the
something.
wood
Who
and
knows?
pieces. Yeah.
But nobody else got to touch it.
Well-
it was untouched. It was taken away.
That is awesome. I've never heard that story before. I didn't
Safe.
know, but now we know, myself and everyone listening, what happened to the little
And
house on the prairie.
Even if it, got too warped and you couldn't do anything with it, the fact that it didn't go to some stranger and fall into like enemy hands.
Wow.
It was protected.
It lived a long life and
Yeah.
it passed away.
And
there
nobody
you go.
else got their
Yeah.
filthy mitts on it.
Yeah. In the last episode, there's all those rabbits running around. I remember.
Which is really cute.
Yeah. So this show, I'm very curious too. I'm looking at the time.
Oh, what time is it?
No, it's 11:09 right now. We're good.
Okay.
20.
Okay, good.
5 more minutes. We're good. I don't know. Dean is behind you somewhere.
Dean is coming somewhere.
He'll be
Yes,
here, yeah.
And then I have yet another interview. I'm going to go into the other room and do another one.
Okay, yeah, I hear you're going to go in the other room
Yeah.
and set up your Zoom. Yeah. I'm going to poke my head in every once in a while and interrupt you.
Sure.
No, I'm kidding.
It's awesome. It's Love Boat.
Okay. Well, who's it with?
It's the Love Boat podcast
Never heard of
to
it.
talk about my episode
I'm
of Love
sure it's
Boat.
amazing.
It's awesome. It's actual cast members from Love Boat.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, well, I'll be staying tuned for that one. So I'll just be listening through the door, Yeah.
I'll get you a glass.
Yeah. If you hear noises or whispering outside, don't mind. I want to know more about the cast. So you're a kid growing up with all these kids. Laura, so Melissa Gilbert, Melissa Sue Anderson. Who are some other...
Oh, Jonathan Gilbert, Willie.
Jonathan Gilbert.
Jonathan
Willie. Oh, yeah, of course.
Tracy Savage, who played Cassie Kennedy for the first couple seasons. Later, went on to be a big newscaster. Very nice lady. I only got to work with Alison Balson, Evil Nancy, the once when I come back to visit.
You come back to visit from New York.
Love her.
Yeah.
We really got along, considering you had a bunch of tween girls, 12, 11, and 10.
And so for anyone listening,
yeah.
again, for people who are familiar with the earlier seasons, but not the later seasons, Nancy is the character who gets adopted by Mrs.
Crazy
Olsen
Harriet.
when Nellie gets married and moves on.
And she's a mess.
And
Harriet encourages this terrible behavior.
Yes.
So it was pretty good. I mean, you take three little girls who are just becoming teenagers, which right there, yikes, and lock them into a studio. And then you also have the whole Hollywood thing of being pitted against each other in competition, and all the managers and the agents and the stage parents going, no, you're prettier than her. You shouldn't be friends with the other two. And everybody getting these horrendous messages. It is a miracle that we got along as well as we did, and yet we did. We survived the whole 7 years
I love it.
without killing each other. I bonded with Melissa Gilbert right off the bat. I think it's because
Laura Ingalls.
she had the Showbiz Family. So we were playing mortal enemies, but going to slumber parties at each other's house on the weekend.
Unbelievable.
Because
Throughout at the beginning and even?
Yeah, right away, day one, because she had a Showbiz Family. I mean, her dad was the actor Paul Gilbert, and her grandfather's Harry Crane, who produced The Honeymooners. I mean, it's like, so she grew up in that thing, and I think there was something about that. And
So you, Nellie, and Melissa Gilbert, Laura. So Nellie and Laura, you guys were best friends
We
off
would
camera.
be in the supermarket because we'd like having a slumber party. Went to the supermarket to get like popcorn and cake mix and brownies and snacks. And we're in the supermarket and somebody recognized her and they were like, Nellie's in the other aisle. And they were going to protect her from me because they saw we were both in the store at the same time. It would freak people out.
We
Every
love
time
each other.
we showed up at the same place together, we would get looks. It would
Wow.
freak people out when we were places
So
together.
what was it like? Like you'd fight, and you guys are rolling around in the mud,
Beat each
throwing
other
hands,
senseless.
and then so that's action. You're fighting, you're
Yep.
yelling at each other, you're getting into trouble, and then cut.
Cut. So do you want to go for Slurpees after work or do you want ice cream? What do you think? The episode where I'm torturing the stuttering girl, one of my, favorites, but kind of terrible. Music Box. And
Yes,
that
yep.
marvelous girl. Katie Kurtzman's the actress. Brilliant. Doesn't really stutter in real life. She's brilliant. She later was on Hotel.
I remember that
Yeah,
episode.
she's
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
And she's stuttering and she's crying and it is heartbreaking. She's so good at it. You can't even
But there
look
was
at her.
one too where there was a kid named Gideon who had a stutter.
Gideon. That's right. Well, this is the poor little girl, Anna, and I'm standing there doing this, Anna can't talk. She just does to stutter, and torturing her and making her say Peter Piper picked a peck of pickle peppers and saying, I can't hear you. And just vile.
Terrible.
And the problem is Katie's so good. Tears are just pouring down her face. And she's going, puh, 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 puh. And Laura's going, try, you can do it, Anna. And I'm going, this is awful. I'm making myself
Terrible.
sick.
Yeah.
I hate
me.
I hate myself now. Just even.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, we all hated you.
But while we were doing it was so crazy because I'm still friends with Katie. We were sitting, she's sobbing away, and I'm going, you can't say, and then you say, repeat it. And then they'd say, cut, and I'd go, so after work, what do you think? Baskin Robbins, 7-Eleven, where you go? So I was thinking we should go to this. And she said, even at the time, she went, wait, what? And we talked about this as adults, and she said, I don't know what the hell you were doing. She said, but you were scaring the bejesus out of me. She said, I went over all acting. She said, but you're really kind of terrifying. And then they said, cut, and you went, so, have you seen this movie? And she said, what the hell? How is she doing that?
How?
Yeah.
And it's talent. There's some talent in you, Allison. So this reminds me of a story, and I think this is funny to compare. Very funny to compare. The movie It, the new movie, the Stephen King It.
That's right. Yet another. Yes.
And these are the kids. This is a movie about kids. And I heard a very similar story, but instead of Nellie Oleson, it's nasty Pennywise the
Where's the
clown.
monster? The clown.
And he grabs the kid and he's screaming and drooling and just being an absolute monster. And the kid is crying and sobbing and trying to let it go. And then cut, and he's like, you okay? And
Right. There's a picture.
you're the monster, and they yell cut, and you're just
There's a
girl.
picture from behind the scenes at Silence of the Lambs, and it's the senator's daughter and Buffalo Bill, and they're like smiling and laughing and holding a dog like they're friends. I got to talk to one of the kids from Stranger Things. He was one of the kids in the lab, just darling.
Cool.
He was number 10. He was lovely. And he's in some scenes in that show where everybody gets murdered in the lab.
Sure.
It's terrifying.
Okay.
And I did ask about that, and he said, no, they kept a wonderful atmosphere on set. Everybody was cool. They knew they was acting pretend. And when they weren't being screamed at and running around and being treated like experiments and buckets of blood, everyone was like, hey, are you okay?
Yeah,
Get back to school. And he said the atmosphere made them feel so safe, even though obviously in Stranger Things, all these
Cool.
terrifying things are happening.
And that was probably important for you. And you weren't the youngest girl on set either, so you probably had this it was almost like a responsibility to try and make people feel comfortable in the midst of being evil, similar to Catherine McGregor.
Indeed. And that's the thing. And I was like the oldest of that little group of kids. I was the oldest. And there are kids, some of the kids who have said, oh, yeah, no, we kind of looked at you were like the big sister pack leader.
Yeah.
And we looked up to you and stuff. And I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But we actually got along shockingly well. We thought, we had spats. And, she's not talking to me. Well, I'm not talking to her. But people would visit us from other sets and go, seriously, you guys? People on other shows have restraining orders against each other. You guys love each other.
That
Shut
sounds
up.
amazing. That just sounds like you were blessed with friendship on that set. And
it was when people say like a family. Now, like a family, you have that one cousin. You go, oh, her again. I mean, when is she going to get her act?
All right, everyone, plug your ears. Who was the one cousin?
But you all have the relatives where you kind of go,
Who was
okay,
it?
they're a little nuts.
Come on.
Well, during the show, the poor girl who was married, Melissa Sue, and I, we hardly spoke during the show.
Melissa Sue Anderson, Mary.
Her mom was, very protective. And like I said, there was such competition between little child actresses at that time. God knows what things would. I know my agents and managers would probably prefer it if I hadn't been friends with the other children. But that's how the attitude is. Now, today, yes, we'll happily email each other. And we were in the Monte Carlo Television Festival last year.
And again, we're talking about you, Nellie Oleson, and Mary
Beautiful
Ingalls,
Mary.
Melissa Sue Anderson.
And she's a delightful lady close to my age, and we were hanging out in Monte Carlo last summer.
So it wasn't
having a
the
blast.
same. You guys would be doing a scene together, and when you say cut, it's not buddy-buddy. It's not hanging out.
It's just kind of like, okay, yeah, whatever. It's like, yeah, we wouldn't be making plans for 7-Eleven after.
Was she mean?
Nah, she was more like, she writes a lot of off. I think she was shy as well. But I really think the people underestimate this. You've seen the competition in Hollywood with adults, the backstabbing, insanity. Imagine being a child and having your team, publicist, manager's agent say, you're this and you're that, and you shouldn't talk to them, and you shouldn't hang out with them, and your children. Why wouldn't you be friends with each other? But it is not unusual, especially with girls.
Interesting.
To have horrible competition.
Yeah.
So I always say the fact that we got along as well as we did is a testament to Michael Land and the fact that we are pretty nice people.
Yeah.
And as I said, now I'm, was hanging out in Monte Carlo with her, and we got along just fine.
We had talked about, how people are today with you.
Yeah.
How like they'll come up to you and they'll be like, but obviously you're not me, Nellie.
You're afraid of me. It's the craziest
What was
thing.
that like growing up playing such a famous character and such a mean character? Did that affect your actual friendships or personal relationships outside of Little House on the Prairie?
More adults than kids, which is weird. I think the kids got it. They went, well, of course you're not like that. If you were like that, how would you even get through the day? Someone would have beaten you senseless by now. You wouldn't be at school. You'd have been stuffed in a trash can. No, hello. I was very lucky in that. It was one few smart things I did. So I'm going to regular school.
Count them. Put it on a tally it up.
Tally this one up because I was going to regular school. I went to Gardner Elementary, Bancroft Junior High, Hollywood High, public school. And when I got the show, some people said, well, I'm being tutored on the set. Maybe I'll just be tutored the whole time. Or
You'll be
maybe
what? Sorry?
Tutoring. You have the private teacher on the set for the 3-hour school there.
So like you would be like in the middle of a scene and 3
They'd
hours
say,
of tutoring.
okay, cut, go back to school for an hour, back and forth, back and forth.
Wow.
So, yeah, really hard. So some people would say, well, I'm going to tutor all the time, or I'm going to homeschool, or I'm going to go to private school. They switch. I said, I'm going to stay right here. And I wanted to stay with my friends. Some of these people I'd known since 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And they're all through junior high. And so I'm in junior high and I go, I don't want to leave my friends. So, okay. So if I'm in this episode, I'm away a week, 2 weeks, then I'm back at school. I would be back at school for days, weeks. Then I go work for several days or several weeks. And then I come. Sometimes it was like, out for 3 days, back for 2 days. Sometimes like I'm gone for 3 weeks. Where have you been? Oh, we're making the show again.
Yeah.
And then I'd be there. And then hiatus, you break around February and you go back in May. Well, regular school then. So I was still with my friends who I'd known since 3rd grade, who could not have cared less, who were like, oh, yeah, you got a show. They grew up in Hollywood. Sometimes their parents were in the business. They didn't care. So I'd be gone and they'd say, you were doing that Little House on the Prairie thing again, right? And they said, why can't you be on a good show like Joni Loves Chachi? They were so blasé. They so could not care, which was perfect because it meant I had a whole group of people my age who knew me and did not care what I did for a living or who the heck I was when I wasn't with them.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, it was really, I would get back to school and they would say, oh, good, you're back, and fill me in on the important things, like who broke up with who and who was dating whom and who got expelled and like real life.
Yeah.
And so, so that really helped. Meeting new people, yes. And even my friends were like, what is the deal? I tried to tell my friend, she used to come over and she's like flipping out and babbling about this whole prairie bitch thing. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Very hard on boyfriends.
Who was?
The whole Nellie thing. I could only date people who like didn't watch the show. And then it was still difficult.
I can't imagine why.
Their friends did. And I can't tell you how many boyfriends where their friends go, oh, you're dating her. She's a bitch. And then the fist fight ensues. The furniture starts getting thrown, and they wind up in a fight. I'm like, no, see, they were talking about the... it was difficult for my friends and for people I dated because people go, "Oh, her, God," and they'd be like, "No, not like she's really dudes," and it was difficult. But now, I mean, I found luckily my husband Bob, who did not watch the show, he'd like seen it, he knew of it,
And nowadays, has he seen the show?
He's now seen it. Since we got married, he's now
I didn't
seen
know if it was like a rule where you're like, you cannot watch this.
Oh, yeah. Well, after we got married, we were going to an event where there were panels and they were talking about all the episodes we did on location. So they're going to be talking about The Lord is My Shepherd with Ernest Borgnine. So we had to finally watch it. So now he also has met everybody who was in the show. So he's like, oh, yeah, this is great. But he doesn't care.
How long have you been married?
It will be 33 years this fall.
What's his name?
Bob Schoonover.
Bob. So you, Allison, are married to Bob. All right. You got to tell the truth here, okay? No, you can't hide anything here. You're so sweet. You're so bubbly. That's what I've gotten to know of you in the last hour here. Does Nellie Oleson ever make an appearance?
Oh, heavens, yes. The running joke we have is Nellie Oleson lives for an hour every morning before I've had my coffee. We're watching an episode. And Nellie does one of the usual things. She turns, and my husband goes, well, I've gotten that look before.
yeah. I've seen that. There she is.
If I ever see that look, I know I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. She's kind of real. She's anytime, you've had the thing, we've had a horrible day. Everyone's an idiot. You're in traffic and you're just going, is everyone stupid? Why is everyone being such a pain in the ass today? And you're just like, I hate everyone.
Yeah.
You take that and you channel it.
yeah. And there she is. Yeah,
exactly.
You're well rehearsed, it seems.
Very.
You're very, yeah. Well, it seems you're well rehearsed the other way too, and you know how to.
I don't do the plate throwing. That doesn't happen.
Yeah,
the part where trash gets in, no.
I was going to say, you got to arm on.
Throwing things and breaking, not a thing.
Okay,
no,
that's an Ellie of the past.
That's
old
stuff.
Allison.
I don't throw
things.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Thankfully.
Thankfully, don't throw anything. When you think about Little House on the Prairie, this is probably a tough question for you, but I want to ask it. What is this like what do you hold near and dearest to your heart? What is is it a friendship you've made? Is it a certain memory? What part of Little House on the Prairie matters to you the most?
Well, it is kind of the whole experience and how it changed my life. Because, yes, I have friendships that are still going on today. I mean, Dean Butler's coming over here. I can't get rid of this guy. I mean, we were just in Ocean City, Maryland at a car show. We do a podcast together. People ask me, they go, do you still see people from the show? I go, I can't get rid of them. They're still here. They won't leave me alone. So I still have these friendships to this day, which is awesome.
I want to say...
I'm still able to parlay the whole Nellie villain thing into a career, which is awesome, and write the book and everything.
And I want to say that as a fan, as a lifelong fan, and I'll be a fan, I'll watch the show forever.
As you should.
And I'll introduce it to my children and yada, yada, yada. You don't know how, just how cool that is to hear that you, this is your family. And I've seen you all as kids on the show or young adults. And to know that you are 50 years later best friends with these people.
Oh, you should see us at some of these autograph shows, these fan events. It's ridiculous.
And people
even said, you guys, okay, people go to the big Comic Cons and they see the celebrities at the table who can't even look at each other. I mean, there's people from shows, they have to pay them extra to sit in the same room with each other. And people come to our thing and says, you guys all hang out? This is crazy. So we're still hanging out. And then how it changed my life, because I said, I was just talking about this the other day. I said, what were the mathematical odds that of all the TV shows I would get cast in, I would get Little House on the Prairie, and it would be the one that would last 52 years. And the odds that I would get the character Nellie Oleson. What in the world? And look what it's done for my life. As I said, a shy, abused kid, and then suddenly everyone's terrified of me, and I'm this huge villain. What an awesome thing to have happen. Couldn't have been better.
Yeah.
And I just look at that and I go, what are the odds that any of this would have somehow lined up in the universe?
Wow.
And it's fantastic.
And again, just as a compliment to you, what a great person to have had that happen to. I mean, I'm just hearing your story and talking to you, I'm just like, man, I just feel happy for you. I just feel excited because what I see in you is just this joy and excitement of something that happened to you 50 years ago.
And I can't, like I said, I meet people from other countries that you wouldn't think. I mean, people from, Sri Lanka. Oh God, I had just signed autographs the other day for a guy from Peru. I mean, people from all over the world. And I sometimes say, what does this mean? Because this is a super American show.
Yeah.
It's about our most famous, lovely American author, Laura Ingalls Wilder. It's about pioneers crossing the prairie. It's super duper. It's about American history. It's the whole thing. What does this mean in your country where, like, what? And they all say, this is more like real life. I mean, your American TV shows, these people live in these big, fabulous mansions and everything. That's not how most people live. Most people live in a teeny little house with a whole lot of kids and are trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
And there's the Ingalls, and they're doing it. And everybody's got a Catherine McGregor. They got a Mrs. Olson at their town hall.
They all have their Nellie.
Every village has got one, and every school's got a Nellie. And we watch and they go, okay, these people are getting it. These people have met us, and they are actually
That's
doing
why
the real
it's
thing.
around 50 years later. It's
50
because, And I say that, Alison, when I say, like, I just feel like a happiness for you and excitement. And it's because so many people could be in your shoes, and you know this, but so many people could have received that blessing in their life and completely taken it for granted, right? Just
Or hated it.
Yeah.
I
or hated it.
literally, was it yesterday? We were and my friend said, you could have been bitter. And I'm like, oh, bitter, potty of one. Yes. He said, you could have been bitter and miserable. I'm like, yeah, but that wouldn't be any fun.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And and it was a good show and I had a good character.
Yeah.
I mean, if it sucked or something, that'd be one thing, but it didn't.
Yeah, it's in it. No, it's such a great show, and it sounds like you had a great team around you and a lot of people supporting you and helping you get to where you are now. And I know that because you're still friends with half of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I bet you, like, the loss of Catherine McGregor and
Richard and everybody. Oh, we just lost Victor French died many years ago, but his son
just passed.
Just died, and he was the coolest guy.
Like last week.
First of all, he looked exactly like his dad, so it was like weird. And he would do
He would sing.
And he would do, oh man, the girl's fight, oh man, watch the face. And it was like dead on. He'd do, oh, and we would all like scream. People would just scream with laughter. We'd all fall down laughing. And okay, so we had a Christmas event at this thing. We're signing autographs and stuff. And he brought sweet potatoes because in the pilot, his dad, Mr. Edwards, brings the potatoes for Ma with the toys and stuff. And so he had literally brought would autograph sweet potatoes for people. It was hysterical.
So that's what Victor French is? Is it
his son?
What's his son's name?
His real name is A. Victor French. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he went
Victor.
by like Victor French Jr.
And
or something.
so it was, because he wasn't a junior. But oh my God, yes, he was so wonderful. And so no, that was awful. That was awful. We lost him.
Well, the thing is, and this is what they say these days, but it's when you feel something when someone's gone, it is that grief is what remains of that person, right? It's almost like a celebration of, like, I got to know that person and I got to love that person, and you wouldn't feel that sorrow or that grief if they didn't mean something to you. So what a compliment to who these people are.
Incredible people.
Yeah, amazing. Well, we went over a lot of this stuff.
I think we've covered everything.
We covered a lot. You have a lot more to talk about, and when it comes to all these details, and I know we kind of gave in an hour and a half, however long that was, a lot of your story of the home life and Little House on the Prairie and your relationships. But I know you go into a lot more of these details and a lot more stories in your book.
Yes.
Where can me?
You can get it at Amazon, and it is also I say fine stores here. There are some bookstores, independent bookstores, still stocking it, but it is on Amazon. And you can even go to my website, and I'll send you an autographed copy. Yes, you can still absolutely, but it's still out there. They have to keep printing the damn thing. People keep buying it.
People keep buying it.
Craziness.
It must be good. I
don't know what happened.
Well, for anyone listening, I'll have a link to that in the bio of our podcast here. So
fabulous.
Anyone can go down in the description, click the link in bio, look at her book. What's it called?
Confessions of a Prairie Bitch: How I Survived Nellie Oleson and Learned to Love Being Hated.
I knew what it was called.
True.
I knew what it was called, but my mom's listening, so I'm not allowed to say the B word.
That's probably that's for the best, I think.
Alison, once again,
Sorry, Mom.
I'm sorry. I grew up as a huge fan of your show. Not a fan of you, but a fan of your show. No, a huge fan of you. You made that show what it was. You made us cheer for these characters, and you drove the plot forward. You're an immense talent. I'm so thankful for what you did for that show and how that's impacted me and so many other people. To sit here and talk to you is like, these guys can vouch for it. I'm like nervous before you walked in because you've been a big part of my life. So thank you for letting me have this conversation.
Thank you very much. Very kind.
Yeah. No, what an honor it was. Thank you, Allison.
You're welcome.
Yeah.